we got fog and lots of merits to actually generate archer main gameplay. Of course, we are going to play with 5 archers together at the same time, and hopefully it will be successful run, right? Of course, we have been basically stuck in this territory because of the Spire, and we are basically fighting against 2 alliances at the same time. But yeah, whatever it is, we are going to try to get the merits and hopefully successfully get this Spire so we can move on and take the Thunder Rock, right? So basically, what's the 5 archers which we are going to use in this fight, right? Ruby and Fraegar is the first march. I still don't have Gailan, which means I will have to play with Ruby and Fraegar until I will finally unlock Gailan, right? Falgrim and Nico, which is already an old hero pair of mine. Magrat and Zaida, which is the best hero pair which I have currently in the game because of the Shadow Manticore, which I actually shared. Indy Santara, we are using Indy Santara with a tier 4 Wyverns, basically the support hero pair, which hopefully, well, not hopefully, they are giving us a lot more damage and damage reduction than we are actually having it, right? And at the last but not least, Kinara and Musiang, basically debuff hero pair, which is helping us to heal, to give slows, to give a defense break, and much more, right? So basically, these have been my 5 archer marches which I have been playing, and already in this KVK we have 40 million merits, right? And as always, of course, we are going to try to even more, but so far I'm really happy regarding my hero pairs. They are actually doing really well in this KVK, and hopefully I will be more than glad to showcase the amount of merits which hopefully we are going to get from this fight, right? Of course, whenever you are fighting inside the fog, like I will give you some tips regarding fighting fog, right? Whenever you are inside the fog, basically all the range attacks are missing towards you. Only melee attacks will be effective, right? That's why basically infantry and cavalry rushes inside the fog is a pretty good idea, right? And that's why time to time I will be going for infantry target, because they are basically the only ones who will be able to deal us damage, and of course we have to be cautious, right? That's basically like small idea and small tips regarding fog, and of course if you are a ranged player and playing inside the fog, which is half an hour timer, we are in a happy place, right? If your opponent is going to come closer, unfortunately you will have a free time. Unfortunately for them, you will have some free time dealing damage towards them, and of course that's what you want to do, especially if you are archer, mage, or archer or mage, right? Because your perfect target is always ranged players. You don't want to be targeting infantry all the time, even if you are mage, right? Because of course you're gonna deal way more damage towards archers and mages in general, right? So basically, I wanted to speak more regarding the G5 archers. Finally, we added some levels towards the Ruby, and merits which we are getting more and more on Fraegar and Ruby is really good, right? My current levels on Ruby is basically 5, 4, 5, 3. Actually, we are missing the best skill for the Ruby, which is basically the 4th skill, well, besides the first one, of course. And yeah, like every single level, we are getting more and more merits whenever we are upgrading Ruby's level, right? So basically, my prediction is correct when I first saw Ruby and Kailan together, and when I read the skill set of these heroes, they are going to be one of the best hero pair for archers for a long time, right? Because I know we had Magrat and Zaida for a huge amount of time, basically being #1 hero pair in the game for archers, but in my honest opinion, Ruby and Gailan will be just better. They will just do more damage, they will get more AoE damage in the war gameplay, and in general they are for sure making you more merits, right? I know that we have seen some 1 versus 1 duels when Magrat and Zaida actually lost against Ruby and Kylan, and trust me, war gameplay will be even more different and even bigger different because Ruby can deal damage to multiple targets by the extra damage dealt, and that's of course a big factor whenever you are having war gameplay, right? Because of course the when you are dealing damage to multiple targets and you are standing here and fighting, of course you for sure gonna get more merits than you are dealing damage to single target. And basically that's the biggest difference behind the hero pairs and heroes which are PvP heroes. They generally tend to have skills which are going to deal damage to multiple targets. And hopefully it's an easy way to understand the heroes which you're gonna get and which will make you a lot of merits. If you know that they have AoE damage dealing abilities, for sure that's one of the best heroes for the war, right? And yeah, like that's why whenever I saw the Bertrand and Dohar, the single target mage hero pair introduced in season 2, I understood that it was not the great hero pair which mage players wanted, right? Of course, the archer gameplay is totally different. Most of the time, you're gonna deal damage to as a single target damage dealer, but if there is a hero, and finally we got one, well, first one was actually Falgrim, but Falgrim is dealing damage to multiple targets by the skill. But yeah, Ruby is different. Ruby can deal damage by normal attack to multiple targets, and that's, trust me, is huge, right? That's really important, and that's what is going to make you a lot of merits as a Ruby and Kylan, right? You might say, and I got asked that question a lot of times, why I am using Fraegar, right? Until I'm gonna unlock Kylan, I will be using Fraegar or with the Ruby, simply because of having the synergy of extra normal attacks, right? I know that Ruby can do the extra normal attacks from the first skill, from the fourth skill, and from the awakening skill, right? If you're gonna check the playstyle and play kit of Fraegar, Fraegar's fourth skill will give us extra normal attack also, like Ruby. And plus, as normal attack damage dealers really like to have some crit rate. That's also you're gonna get from Fraegar, and the general buffs, you can compare Ruby and Fraegar. They both basically have similar general buffs. Defense bonuses, the normal attack damage dealt bonuses, which is really important, right? So yeah, that's the things which I wanted to speak during this war gameplay, and so far, as you can see, our opponents finally decided to send a lot of infantry heroes, and unfortunately Kinara and Musiang somehow got damaged. There is a high chance that it was the artifact of the mage players, and yeah, somehow that it went through the fog, right? And well, unfortunately it's the case, but I will still try my best to deal as much damage as possible. Regarding warpits, the Wind Weasel and the other warpits, I'm finally going to have three-star warpits on my account. Of course, the sweet spot is always to have 5 archers with 5 3-star warpits, but that's never easy, right? You will need a lot of time to actually make your warpits 3-star. You can't really pay the money and make the warpits 3-star. Like, it's impossible to pay. You are basically have to catch warpits and upgrade them slowly, right? Which requires time, and that's why it's not that easy to find that time, right? Here, let's try to deal damage to mages. I can see we are having some cavalry rush towards the mage players, and if I will be able to touch them, it will be perfect. I'm also inside the fog, which means even if mage players are going to target me, I will be able to survive, right? Let's see. Yeah, I think it's nice. The cavalry players made a good progress in this fight, and what I like the most about my marches, look at Magrat and Zaida, right? Look at Magrat and Zaida and tell me that healing is bad, right? It's impossible to not like healing. like I have on my Magrat and Zaida, basically the best hero pair in the game in terms of healing. Well, it's not basically the healing, it's a variable healing, right? And variable healing and normal healing is totally different if you are going to compare. Variable healing basically heals you by the units which you defeated from your opponents, right? So that's perfect for archers. That's why I like the Advanced Chain Strike skill, which will add the variable healing towards your Legion, which is also really important. And yeah, that's the reason how Magrat is still alive, right? Last time we had Fog, we had 400k merits with the Magrat and Zaida, and we spent half an hour recording that gameplay. I have no idea how much we're gonna get this time. Hopefully a lot, right? Because it will be really interesting if we will be able to repeat our successful run with Magrat and Zaida. But unfortunately this time we don't have the same amount of allies around. We are a little bit short. But of course I will try my best, and of course my ally members will try their best also. I think we have to defeat these infantry players, because without that we can't even move forward and deal damage to mages, right? Because last time we had Fog, we were basically most of the time dealing damage to the mages and archers, and that's not the case right now. Our opponents, which are basically two alliances at the same time, they are sending a lot of infantry, which is a good choice by them, right? It's the correct call, which you have to do whenever you are being attacked with the fog, right? So it will take some time to basically clear this space from the infantry players, plus some cavalry bombs which will affect you because they have AoE artifacts. And I think right now it's getting tougher and tougher to stand and deal damage, right? I can see even some mage players are moving up. Unfortunately, that's where we are right now. But yeah, I will stand and let's see how much damage we can deal, right? Hopefully we're gonna send some rallies and the infantry players towards our direction, but so far, yeah, I can see some cavalry players running around. Of course, I will mainly deal damage to these mages because they are easy target for us, right? They are perfect target. We're gonna deal most damage towards these players, and why not, right? When you can, you should always try to deal damage to mages, especially if you are inside the fog and you can't really do anything, right? Yeah, basically they dropped the fog tool, basically the double fog. Yeah, that's what actually happened last time we had fog gameplay, right? Unfortunately, that's why game started a little bit lagging. Yeah, that's normal. That's normal. Now I guess we kinda have to focus mainly on the infantries, right? Yeah, I guess that's the correct call. That's why they have been pushing so well, basically. I guess that's the reason. Because for quite some time I was not really able to understand why it was so easy for them to push us, but slowly now I can understand, right? I can see, yeah, this archer, we can actually deal damage to this archer, right? We should. Yeah, we are. He's not. He's inside our fog, which means we can deal damage to him. Alright, what about this mage? Yeah, this is fog versus fog gameplay, right? Fog versus fog gameplay, and yeah, I like that we are still dealing damage to mages. We are seeing some spaces, which is always important. Yeah, Magrat and Zaida still basically almost full, which is the most important. We are expecting a lot of merits from the Magrat and Zaida hero pair, as always, but unfortunately they are sending way more infantry, which will be hard to do anything against, right? Alright, I can see this mage, maybe this is the one which is dealing damage to me, and finally time has come. It was impossible to defend this fog, because that's the fog versus fog gameplay, right? You really whoever has more infantry not only wins inside the fog, but also wins the wars, right? So that's why We all should appreciate the infantry players, and hopefully next fight we are going to have even more. So yeah, let's check the merits which we got from this fight, and not a big surprise, we have some lot of merits. 200k from the Magrat and Zaida, 92k, as I told you, Ruby is dealing a lot of damage. Falgrim and Nico and Musiang and Thea. Unfortunately, Musiang and Kinara got dealt damage a lot early, that's why the merits are low, but generally they can get 100k merits easily, right? As always, if you enjoyed the Archer main gameplay, press like, subscribe, share. It always gives me more and more motivation to make more content for this game. I wish everybody an amazing day, morning and night. We are going to see each other really soon. Bye bye. Luck.